Encampments fill the streets just blocks from the California Capitol, where in the coming months, Governor Gavin Newsom will try to have care court written into law.
We're coming up with a completely new paradigm. It's a new approach.
A new and drastic plan he says will help solve California's growing homeless problem by getting treatment to those with severe mental health issues through a court-mandated plan. But will it?
The simple answer to that is no. This program will serve between 5,000 to 12,000 people.
As of 2020, the homeless count in California is estimated at over 161,000 people, and experts believe that amount has grown in the last 2 years with the pandemic and our housing crisis.
Too many on the streets are suffering from bipolar disorder, schizophrenia, paranoia, many of them self-medicating with drug or alcohol addictions.
But even if care court worked perfectly, it would only get 12,000 off the street. That's just 7% of California's homeless population.
They are touting it as the end-all be-all to end homelessness. And if you're a Californian who's seeing what we're seeing on a daily basis, you want to support that proposal. But the devil's in the details.
Details just released in Senate Bill 1338 and Assembly Bill 2830, showing care court could potentially impact many more than just those within our homeless populations.
It's basically anyone over 18 with psychosis, which is extremely broad.
I like to say homelessness is a challenge for California with many faces.
As Secretary of California's Health and Human Services, Dr. Galley would be in charge of implementing and overseeing care court. He says care court would help get people with serious behavioral health conditions the help they need, focusing on those who live on our streets with these issues.
Indeed, it's not the entirety of those experiencing homelessness, but I would say it's one of the most overlooked populations that often doesn't get served and needs to be.
But advocates are concerned this is too broad.
This is Pandora's box that is now being opened.
Here's how care court bills lay out who could be taken into this new system. Someone must be 18, not clinically stabilized, lack medical decision-making capacity, and have a diagnosis of schizophrenia or a diagnosis of another psychotic disorder.
We know many individuals may already carry a diagnosis from, recent encounter with 5150 hold, or while they were hospitalized, or based on symptoms, based on a set of conditions, they come into the care court process, get an evaluation, and then indeed get a diagnosis.
But before all this, in order to even create care court, an entirely new judicial branch within the civil court division would have to be enacted. It's the first step, and it's already a red flag for many experts we've spoken to.
Things done with the courts are not cheap and they're not efficient.
All California court systems, including criminal and civil, are inundated.
And we know due to the pandemic, criminal calendars and the civil calendars are backed up.
Why are we creating all of this when our court systems are already overwhelmed?
Yeah, it's a really important question.
He says additional investments in courts and new infrastructure will help, but overall, there isn't an answer yet.
These are details that, through the coming weeks, we'll be working on.
Once someone is petitioned for care court, they would be evaluated, and if they met the criteria, a care plan would be created for the person. This plan includes items like behavioral health treatment and stabilization medication. So yes, court-ordered drug treatment.
Is court-mandated treatment a violation of civil rights?
Galley says care court is the government fulfilling an obligation to get people the treatment they need. Other advocates say care court would strip people of their basic human liberties.
Well, I think there's a notion out there that this is a voluntary program. And the simple answer to that is it's not.
According to care court's current framework, if someone doesn't abide by their care court plan, they could be subject to more court hearings, go back to previously paused criminal proceedings, or be referred to a conservatorship.
That is the definition of coercion. You either participate or you be punished.
But what advocates and government leaders share in common is their belief in the importance of housing to solve homelessness.
Housing and supportive services, board and care homes solve homelessness.
Yet buried in the new proposal, it says care court does not allow the court to order housing or require the county to provide housing.
Without housing being absolutely required by care court, could someone basically go through the entire care court system and end up back on the street?
He said the housing plan is required, and the state has funds to back up that plan to help find housing for folks who go through care court.
Between the plan and the expectation of the plan and the resources that both counties and cities have been provided by the state, we believe that those two things together are going to create housing placements.
But Gallagher believes Newsom's housing and homeless plans have been operating in the shadows.
To Governor Newsom, I would encourage him to, if he has a homeless plan, to share it with all of us so we can see what his homeless plan really is. Where is the money going and what's actually being done?
Overall, he's worried by investing billions more of taxpayer dollars into care court, it would end up stripping people of their rights while not helping solve homelessness at all.
Care court is a Band-Aid on California's homeless problem. We have $10 billion. Why are the current programs and systems not serving these people that care court is intended to serve?
We asked Dr. Galley why they're making an entirely new system rather than fixing those already in place to help those with mental health issues, like Laura's Law and LPS conservatorships.
I think there's a lot of approaches to how we think about solutions to important problems in California. Sometimes we approach it by fixing existing systems. And in this case, we've chosen to go further upstream